Hey, what's up out there? This is Corian33 bringing you another example of play video. Today, the game I'm going to show is Armored Commander 2. Now, I'll go ahead and say up front, this is a game with very simple graphics, but some pretty cool gameplay. It's really unique. I don't think there's another game out there like this. This is a tank combat simulator where you're like the commander of a tank in World War II. And like I said, graphics very simple. We'll get to that in a minute. But kind of the cool thing is that since the graphics are so simple, there's a ton of variety in what you can do in this game. And it's kind of a little bit of a roguelike, not that you like unlock stuff, but that you run a campaign where you kind of expect that you might die or stuff could go bad, or you might do really well and fight through the whole war. But you fight it out. There's like campaigns, and then there's days of that campaign, and then individual battles are kind of different layers. And just to show real quick, like the variety in this game is huge. If you're a fan of tank combat in World War II, like if you can think of it, it's probably here. You can start all the way at Kalk and Gol, the Japanese and Soviets fighting kind of in 1939. You can play that if you want some like very, very early tanks, and then through all the early war battles, France, Poland, uh, the Eastern Front, the continuation war with Finland, Africa, kind of all there. Then mid-war, it's got more, tons of Eastern Front campaigns, and then also the Operation Torch. So like more North Africa with the U.S. coming in, you can play that as the USA or as Germany. Not every campaign you can play both sides, but all the big ones you can. And then also even some action over in the Pacific. So like the Battle of Iwo Jima. It's kind of an interesting one to play as an American tank crew there, and there's some Japanese tank ones also. But then you get like the Western Front, and then the end of the war. There's a campaign where you're with the Fourth Armored with Patton. So just like a huge variety. And these campaigns are different lengths and difficulties, so you can see that here. Some of them are really short, just a few days. Uh, there's some that are just a couple days, and then some are really long, um, 80, 90 days long. So that's a lot of gameplay, and then different difficulty. So obviously being like, yeah, the Japanese, late war Japanese tank crew, you're probably not gonna survive that 20 days. That's gonna be tough. Uh, but playing like Germany invading Poland, that's gonna be a really easy campaign in comparison. And then as you play through the campaign, you can actually like get different tanks and get promoted and get awards and stuff if you survive. That's a big, big if. For today though, since this is kind of my first video on it, I was going to do the tutorial. And the game has a really good tutorial, but it's a lot of text. It kind of shows you everything with big explanations, but I thought it might be helpful if I just played it. And this is just like a fun game that you can play on like your laptop. Pretty much any kind of computer can run this, and it's not very expensive. I think it's just a really cool game, so I wanted to show it off. Um, so, tutorial, here we go. So, I won't read off all of this, but basically, you're mostly gonna. So if you, or yeah, so if you start a campaign, there's stuff you can pick, um, different options that make you're basically get more victory points if you make the game harder. The one that I really like is playing with the player commander on, which basically is you are like you kind of control the whole crew, but if you play on that, then it's like you are the commander. So if you die in the game, like that's it, your campaign's over. Where if you don't have that on, then your crew or the commander can die, and you just kind of like get new crew. But if you do that one, then yeah, if the commander specifically is killed, then you're out, which I think makes it kind of cool. And then to go with that, you can pick fate points, which kind of makes you be a little lucky, like you're a little more likely to survive, just to kind of keep your game going. And there's a bunch of other options too. And then yeah, so normally when you start a campaign, you might get a couple tanks to pick from, but for the tutorial, they're going to give us this, the Ram Mark II, which is an early war tank that I'm not really familiar with. Kind of looks a little bit like a early Lee type of tank. Um, It says it's produced from 1942, so maybe some kind of Sherman. Anyway, um, so we have that, and then it's talking about so there's a campaign calendar layer, Basically, the campaign plays out over a series of days, and like then the next layer plays out, and you play each day out, and you're trying to accomplish some objectives, and basically everything you do takes a certain amount of time. So like the mission for today, day one, we're going to simulate advancing into enemy territory and try to take some victory point locations. So, and basically you're trying to get as many victory points as you can to get a better score, but also you're trying to survive. Now we get to pick what ammo we're going to bring. For this tank, there's high explosive or armored piercing available, and this is where you're actually picking like what kind of rounds are in your tank. And so there's the stores and then the ready rack. The ready rack is like the rounds that your gunner has available to load quickly, and then the stores is more shells that are in storage that take time to move. So basically, you want your ready rack ready to go at all times if you can, have it full, and then because it takes longer to get the ammo from the other location. And you can that's one of the things you can do during the game is kind of mix up what you want on the ready rack. But anyway, we're going to hit X. You can manually do this, but we'll do X just to load mostly high explosive, which is good because we're going to be fighting lots of things besides enemy tanks, and then armor piercing, which is specifically for enemy tanks. So we'll go with that. Then this is talking about, all right, this is the day, the campaign day layer. So this is like what we're doing today, and just looking at the map. So yeah, this is some Dwarf Fortress kind of graphics, but that's okay. We do get a little nice illustration of our tank up here. Um, so looking at the map, we're here. We're this little guy. And this is where kind of the roguelike vibe comes into of these simple ASCII graphics. But we do get some detail, like over here as we mouse over, we see detail about the different zones. So we're here. This red outline is the territory we control, and then we're trying to advance up. And then these yellow dots are the zones that we want to try to capture. So if we can get to those, we get bonus points. And then, of course, these are like roads and fields and forests and things. And then that's a lake, so you can't go there. So we're here. Our first objective is here. It says rescue. There's an allied unit in trouble there. We should go and try to rescue them. So that gives us a quick objective. There's another one here. Reconnaissance of this zone. So we don't need to even attack that. We just need to recon it. Recon. Capture that zone if we can. And then another rescue up there, which they're pretty far away. So we'll start with trying to get here. You pick with the keyboard which direction you want to move in here. On these are hexes. So we're going to go E, we're going to go up the road to this field. So it's telling us this is enemy controlled. It'll take us 10 minutes to do recon or 15 minutes to go there. We'll hit R to do recon. And this can basically tell us that, yeah, we can spend a little extra time to do reconnaissance. That estimates how much enemy control is there. It's enemy strength 2, so we think there's an armored car there. It's not always true, but that's what gives us a little more information at the cost of some time because it's simulating a day. So when our time runs out, we have to return to base. Then we can also do some stuff here like request air support, artillery support, and like right now we have an 80% chance of getting it, but every time we use that, it'll decrease the chance that it'll come. So we're gonna not do that on this one since we think there's just like an armored car there. Then we'll hit tab to go on. So we enter the zone. The enemy did control it, but we get here and we find that they're gone. There's no resistance, so that's okay. And then this is talking about, so we're not out here, even though right now, we just control this one tank. Later you can have like a whole platoon that you're commanding, and um, I've never played beyond that, but you can also give some orders like higher level than that too. But usually you're either by yourself or you have like a platoon of a couple tanks with you. But there are other units like on this battlefield with us, so we can see here that friendly units have taken these other locations. So we don't have to necessarily capture the entire map. We just need to try to go for these objectives. And so then we will hit Q. We're gonna go over here. Now we see this is enemy control. It'll take us 35 minutes to get there, but we definitely want to go there. But we could, well, we know there's units there we want to get to, so we're not gonna recon. We're just gonna go for it. Alright, so we arrive here. There's some enemy resistance, and it takes us down to this layer. So this is the scenario layer. This is where we're going to actually be doing some shooting. And yeah, sorry, the graphics don't get fancier, but you do get some nice control here, it really is fun. Like once you get into it, of managing your crew and trying to like survive the battle, and um, yeah, it's just a really fun game with simple graphics that you can play like really quickly. So looking at this map, we're thinking, all right, um, we are here in the middle, and then the world around us will rotate as we turn. So you don't drive like around the map. The map kind of rotates around you, so you're always facing forward. This yellow is showing kind of what we're seeing, or showing it can show like the angle of our gun and stuff. We'll see. So looking at this, we think there's an enemy unit here, but LOS, so line of sight, is blocked. We can't see it very well. There's an enemy unit here that we haven't spotted, so we know there's something there, but we don't know exactly what it is. Over here is the friendly, so there's a Canadian submachine gun squad over there, and that is who we're here to rescue. So they are far away from the enemy, so we should be able to rescue them. Down here is talking about radio, so we do have a platoon with us, so there's two other tanks with us, so that's good. And they will kind of move with us, but they'll act independently as far as shooting, because right now we have them on fire at will, so, and that's fine. Now over here, this is our tank, and this is talking about what weapons we have. So we have a 57 is the gun, the main gun, and this is machine guns, and then this is kind of like our armor thickness, and there can be other details here too. But then here's kind of the meat of the game. So this is what we're controlling. So Commander Jackson, that's us. And using the keyboard, you can pick what action you want each person to do on this turn. So they're all on spot by default. They're trying to look for the enemy. This says they're in the turret, they're in the hull. BU means he's buttoned up. So in a tank, buttoning up or unbuttoning is if you basically have the little hatch open where you're sticking your head out looking around, which if you're in a tank seems really dangerous to stick your head out, but you might need to do that to see better. So you have a better chance of spotting the enemy if your head's out and you're looking around than if you're sealed up inside the tank. And down here, these are the controls. So there's like a hatch we can open, we can button or open up. So right now we're buttoned up. If we unbutton, we'll be able to, so if we unbutton, now this yellow expands out so we can see really well in all directions because we're like the commander sitting up here on top of the tank. We can see really well, but also we're exposed, so we're much more likely to get killed while sticking our head out of the tank. Um, but we'll do that for now just to try to spot what's going on. So I'll leave him on spotting. Gunner, so he's on spotting also, but we can tell him to operate the gun. So ready, and that's going to be like the main gun ready to operate. He can operate the machine gun. If we're just engaging like some infantry or something, we don't want to use our cannon. He can manage the ready rack, which is to move what kind of rounds we have. The RR is the ready rack. And then also there is, if you hit F1, there's like a glossary. So there's a bunch of abbreviations in this game. But if you go there, you can kind of see what all of them are. So that's HE is high explosive, AP is armor piercing. So HE is what we need to engage pretty much anything that's not a tank, and then AP for tanks. And we only have 64 rounds total, and we only have a few rounds in the ready rack. So if we have them there, there's a chance that we can shoot like twice in one turn. So you always want to have some there. And then first aid, so if someone gets hurt, they can try to help out. And then swap positions, they can move around. Like in this tank, we have 5 crew, but other tanks you might have less. You might have just like 2 or 3 people, which gives you less options of what you're having everyone do. So we'll put him on operate gun just because in case we have a target. So the loader, he can be spotting, he can be reloading, which helps us have a chance of firing the main gun multiple times. He can do the ready rack also, first aid. So a little bit different role, but we'll leave him on spot just to try to see what we're dealing with. The driver, obviously, his main job is to drive. but we can also have him do other things. So we can try to have him just available to drive, or to try to like get into certain terrain, or withdraw, try to get off the map. But right now, and he can also fire small arms, so he can like stick his head out and shoot his machine gun or shoot his Tommy gun at someone or something like that. But we're gonna leave him on drive so we can maybe advance. Well, we'll leave him on spot so he can see, so he can see a lot better than the other ones. Then um, assistant driver, so yeah, he can help with ammo, he can help, or he can help spot, or we have him operate another machine gun, so we'll put him on the machine gun for now. And then the commander, he can also direct movement, direct fire, to try to help with those actions. He can do smoke, he can give a command like to his battle group, and or he can shoot his gun, also like his small arms also. But anyway, we have him on spot, and then so we'll hit space once we've got everyone doing what we want. We'll hit space to go to the next phase, which is movement, or well, spotting. Let's see if they spot anything. Crew's gonna do stuff. These are all the different phases. So, because the driver wasn't on drive, we skipped the driving phase. Now we're in the shooting phase. All right, so this is telling us, all right, they've spotted what's over here, and it is a target. It's an anti-tank gun. So we definitely want to deal with that. We can use high explosive against it, and we can do the keys up and down to go through the different weapons. So we can shoot at it with our machine gun from the assistant driver first, just for fun. So it's showing us, yeah, not going to have a high chance. So this kind of shows us our chance of hitting, of having an effect, and then the modifiers of what things that can make this go up and down, and then like kind of variables get like a hit, chance of like a critical hit or something. But the shoot away, no effect. We didn't expect to do much to shoot a machine gun from a distance, but we can fire the high explosive. So we miss. That's okay. Now we fired everything that we can fire. There is another machine gun, but no one's manning it because that's the main. It's like connected to the main gun. So the main gunner is the only one that can fire it. So he's shooting the main gun, not the machine gun. Now our guys with us, they'll shoot too. Now they see us. All right, so they could shoot back at us also. And then it's gonna turn down the sound effects because they are really loud. I'll turn them down just a little bit. Okay, so now start a new round. Basically, pick all the same stuff again. We're going to button up since we don't want to get shot. I'm going to direct fire. So try to help the gunner hit. And then the loader's going to help with reloading. Driver's going to drive. Yeah, that all looks good. And then, so I know that first turn took a long time because I was kind of explaining everything, but once you get into it, it goes pretty fast because you're just adjusting on the fly, like what you want your crew doing. And we haven't moved, so just to show what it looks like when you move, we'll turn right. So as you see, our view stays the same, but the world kind of rotates around us. And then also, you're limited on how much you can move. Your chance of success up here, like so pivoting, high chance. But going forward and back, you might fail. And that's representing that this terrain isn't like a wide open empty field. It could be, hills or rocks or creeks or different things that you're dealing with so that you might not always move successfully. You might get kind of stuck. And also there's always a small chance of getting bogged down. But so we try to move forward, but we don't move far enough to get to the next hex. So we're still at this distance. So I'm gonna have gunner fire again. All right, so because we moved a little bit, that like reduces our chance, but like the commander's helping, so that boosts it a little bit. And then usually like if you fire at the same target multiple times, your chance of hit goes up because you're kind of like zeroing in on them. All right, so we missed again. Have the machine gunner fire. No effect. And they're like in a field, so they're a little bit concealed or something. We're having a hard time hitting them, but that's okay. Our SMG squad that we've come to help, they're getting in the action. So they're shooting at us. Ooh, dang, we took a critical hit. So we were penetrated. That's not good. You were destroyed. Okay, well, there you go. And yeah, get knocked out in the first battle in the tutorial. So that is a thing that can happen. So the first enemy in the tutorial fired one shot and uh, knocked out the tank. We're not dead, but we're bailing out. So you could have your tank be destroyed, but you survive, which is a thing that definitely happened. Oh, and so oh yeah, I forgot, there's a whole system for like getting out of the tank. So uh, we can open the hatch, can help other crewmen. So we're gonna open. Try to wake each other up, I guess, and try to get out of here. Alright, so you got the hatch open. Try to bail out. Commander's gonna aid. He's gonna help out fellow crewmen for sure. He's gonna try to get his hatch open. Yeah. Didn't make it out. He got his hatch open. Alright, so we got one guy out of the tank. You can also do covering fire. Throw a smoke grenade. Sure, I'll throw a smoke grenade. He's gonna keep helping. Alright, so we toss some smoke. We got another one out. Got another one out. Alright, so everyone's out except for the commander. So time for him to get out. Let's have them try to move to safe locations. Alright, so everyone's out. And now we just need to get out of here. Okay, so everyone, nice. So the whole crew survived. And our tank was knocked out, but the crew all survived, apparently uninjured, just um, stunned. So yeah, the first day we survived, but we didn't accomplish anything at all. So that's kind of interesting that you can, yeah, get knocked out by the first enemy in the tutorial, but we didn't really get to see everything. So we're reassigning our same crew into the same tank. And so your crew, like, they can level up over time, and they have some stats: perception, morale, grit, knowledge, and different skills. So, like my commander, he's kind of good at everything. Driver is an experienced driver, and so they can level up over time and get better. So, like, if you played one of the longer campaigns that was like months long, your crew could level up, if they didn't die, and get strong and get better over time. So yeah, so we survived that. We got another tank. I guess we'll just keep going into day two. So day one, we rolled out there, got blown up by the first anti-tank gun we came across. Didn't accomplish much, but we survived to fight another day. Same kind of tank, except now we're on the defensive, and our goal is to hold the line. And specifically, we have the line right here. This is what we're trying to hold. So we'll move up into this village, try to hold there. And now my goal is not to attack, but it looks like we do get points if we attack. Let's see. Looks like there are enemy units there. Support weapon team. Sure. The best defense is good offense, so we'll do that. We took that. Okay, but they're pushing here, so we need to go counter that. And then some friendly forces are pushing up here. But we are going to counter the enemy push here. Looks like anti-tank gun, our old friend. Alright, so it looks like there's just one enemy here. We suspect an anti-tank gun, but we're not sure. And the line of sight is blocked right now. So we're going to put on spotting. Driver's going to drive. Assistant driver's going to help drive. Yeah, put him on this operate machine gun. I guess it's help drive isn't a thing. Put him on direct movement. Alright. Now since we can't see it from here, we're going to try to maneuver. So this is like we're driving forward. And then I would like to have turned, but we can't turn. Now see the yellow shows our machine guns facing forward. And we can turn the turret to swing it around to point at them, but we're not on the gunner's not on the gun right now, so that's an artillery cannon, an artillery gun. So it looks like we kind of caught them on the move. So that's a nice target for us. Shooting at us, but they didn't do anything. All right. So now gunner definitely on the gun. Loader helping with that. Driver driving. And we're going to turn, so now we're facing it head on. Got our front armor towards the enemy. And then we'll move to shooting phase. So just to show, you can, if the gunner is on the gun, he can rotate the turret. So even if the tank is pointed one way, the tank's always pointed up, but the turret can point in different directions. But we are going to have him do some shooting for sure. High explosive, fire away. And you can change what target you're shooting at, but we want to be targeting him right now. And now we have a good chance of doing some damage. Alright, so we got a partial hit. And then also machine gun. And then we'll go on to the next phase. Allies fire at it too. Now we see, alright, so we hit it, we got some FP, so firepower, hit the enemy unit, now we see what it did to them. Alright, so they're routed. We would have liked to destroy them, but routing them from the field is good too. And okay, so they surrendered, so just as well. They can try, if they get routed, they can try to run out of the combat zone, but they just surrendered because they're an artillery piece, so they weren't going to get away from us. Alright, so we won this battle. Now we're back here. We will try to push the enemy back a little bit here. No resistance there. We'll go check out this one. So we think there's, oh, maybe a tank here. Let's go for it. Nope. And this is the tutorial campaign, so even though I got destroyed on the first turn before, you're kind of meant to win this one. And then, so just to show, since we are defending, we don't necessarily need to keep pushing. There's no advantage to us pushing further. There's no victory point value to taking these locations. We can wait. We'll say rest. And so basically we'll wait for a little while, let our crew rest a little bit because they can get fatigued. We'll wait here for 15 minutes. Nothing happens. And I don't know, I'm not sure where you can see how your crew is doing in between battles, but wait a little longer. Nothing happens. Okay, enemy forces, they're pushing over there. So we will go down the line. Go ahead and recon it. Okay, so then that took just enough time to actually ended the day. We completed all our objectives to hold the line here across the middle. And so we got our report for the day. We fought one engagement, we captured 4 zones, we took out an enemy gun. That was all we did, really, but we survived better than day 1. So our drivers got better. Some of our guys leveled up a little bit, so that's good. We're still healing up from day 1. Now into day 3. Final day of the exercise, we will simulate an assault on an urban area. So dangerous for tanks if you didn't know. Yeah, urban areas not good for tanks unless they have strong infantry support, so we'll need to be careful. We'll go with the same mix as usual. Alright, so this map, obviously, we're looking a little different. This is more of a city than an open countryside. And our objectives are, we're trying to take this location, rescue some people there, recon that one, attack a convoy up here. So if we go up there, that's kind of a special one. We get extra points if we're able to take out trucks in the convoy, but that's pretty far away. So first objective, we're going to try to push. Let's see, we'll probably go through these residential blocks instead of the factory. I don't know, we'll go there. We definitely want to do recon since we don't want to walk into a big ambush. But travel time's a little bit longer. All right, so yeah, destination is enemy controlled, strength 10. We're expecting armored car, infantry, anti-tank guns. All right, so we can request some fire support here, which I'm definitely gonna do for this one. And this talk tells us about, so yeah, we can request artillery. They'll fire, try to reduce the enemy there before we get there, but the chance of them working the next time is lower. But for this, we definitely want some help. And then unit support, we're gonna do that one also. Basically get some friendly units to show up in the battle, which for this makes sense that we would get some infantry to help us attacking into this kind of terrain. So it's kind of showing us, all right, we requested support. What do we want to get? I think we definitely want, we are the anti-armor, but we would like some infantry. We can also ask armored cars, artillery, or armored. It's like extra tanks, but I think we definitely want so we can only pick one of these off the list. but I think we'll take, yeah, we definitely want the, yeah, infantry support. Alright, so success on our artillery support, so that's nice. Nice, so it routed someone right off the map for us. And then our infantry support has also arrived, so that's nice. There's an AT gun there, and some unspotted enemies there and there, so we will, yeah, be on spotting, gunner on the gun, loader helping just in case, driver driving, assistant driver on the machine gun, because we kind of want all the firepower we can get right now. Um, Alright, so we can't see this target very well, so I'm going to have the gun shoot at this guy. Or we can change our target, so click on him to make that our target. We're going to fire. Miss, that's okay. And then the whole machine gun, he can't turn the machine gun to aim over there, and he can't see anything to shoot at there, so. Alright, so there's an enemy armored car over there. We're not too worried about that. And this is the, okay, enemy support weapon team. So this is some guys with an anti-tank rifle. But that's why we got our infantry team there to support us. Nice. Alright, so that was an anti-tank rifle team, which could have been hard for us to deal with if we couldn't spot them, but that's why we have all these infantry with us, a flamethrower team, a heavy machine gun team, and so they were able to wipe out that, so that was nice. Now we're going to go same commands. We're going to turn, so now we're looking at this AT gun and armored car, but we're not worried about that. We're going to take out this AT gun. So definitely going to have him fire at that. Miss, that's okay. Machine gun. Alright, that's okay. Alright, so they took a few hits but didn't damage them. We're going to do same thing. Try to move up, but not far enough. That's okay. Alright, we got a little bit of a hit on them. The urban terrain detected them. That's okay. Flamethrower team's moving up to take them out head on. Alright, so they're destroyed. Very nice. Alright, same commands. We're going to roll up. And we're going to let that armored car have it. Got a little hit. So, like, they're in urban terrain that's protecting them, but that's okay. They're firing at the flamethrower team. Oh, they got wiped out. Poor guys. But I don't directly control them. But yeah, that's too bad for them. We'll try to make this. So now we moved up and they went out of sight even though we got closer. So that's just part of like the nature of the terrain. But our allies can still see them. Alright, I'm going to switch to directing fire. Alright. so they were hit, but it didn't penetrate. But Ally took them out. Alright, so we won that fight. So that was a little bit tougher. That was like a full-on battle, multiple units shooting, not just us. And then now we're going to move into here. So we think there's a couple armored cars and infantry there. Not too much of a threat to us. Not worried about the AT gun, so we're probably just going to roll in. But we might ask for unit support again just in case. And again, we'll go with some armored cars to help us this time. Alright, so the armored car shows up to help us. Very nice. And so one thing with having the loader help with the reload is sometimes you'll get like an extra shot off with the main gun in one turn. But with our crew, it's kind of like a rookie crew, so it's probably less likely to happen, but that is possible. Alright, we're going to try to shoot at whatever's here. We don't know yet. We'll go ahead and just shoot a round off at them, even though we don't know what's there. We know something's there. We hit whatever it was. Alright, so it's a rifle squad. And there's an armored car back there. Alright, armored car's knocked out. Rifle squad's pinned down. Alright, since it's, well, yeah, we'll stay on the main gun. We're going to let them have it with some HE. Alright, 28 firepower hit them. Yeah, they're gone. Alright, we're going to switch to directing fire. Sorry if my dog's barking. We're going to try to move up on whatever this other unit is. So that's another armored car. It's maneuvering. Try to advance on it. We're going to fire armor piercing at it. Which, yeah, we have like almost so a moving armored car. We're moving, they're in rubble. It makes it like almost impossible for us to hit them. So actually, we're just going to fire an HE since we have more of those and we don't expect to hit anyway. So they were hull down. So in tank world, being hull down is when kind of the body of your vehicle is behind cover, like the ground or a wall or something, that protects you completely. It makes you harder to hit, but your turret is still above that cover, so you can still fire out of it. They're moving again. Yeah, I have like no chance of hitting them still because they're moving around. Alright, so they're trying to move again, but they didn't manage to that time. Alright, so this time we're going to stay still and just try to hit them. We have a little bit better chance. They're hull down again, saved them again. Yeah. So we're going to try to close with them because they are really being squirmy. Alright, now got a little bit better chance. Getting a good hit. Dang, hold down, saved them again. They are like the squirmiest unit I've ever seen. Alright, now we got a better chance. So we have this bonus acquired targets, like we've already shot at them once, so dang. Alright, finally someone got him. Alright, so that was a frustrating one, but yeah, an armored car in rubble, tough to hit. Now we'll try to advance a little bit more. So I haven't gone very far, but if you see here this bar, like a lot of the day has passed already because it just takes time. In this urban combat, you're a lot slower moving, so we'll try to move up. But basically it's taking us like an hour per area that we move up versus in like the open terrain where it's just a few minutes. Alright, so it looks like just one enemy unit here. We can also do an overrun attack, so like this is probably an enemy infantry unit. We try to overrun them, but we'll hold off on that for the moment. Alright, so it's an enemy anti-tank rifle team. So a little bit dangerous to us, but probably not too worried about them. Like if we were in a really early war tank, that's more dangerous, but anything after the early days of the war, not too hard. Alright, so this time we finally got a rate of fire, so basically we get to fire twice. So it kicked up dust around us, made it a little harder to see. Alright, so they're routed. They surrender. Very nice. So that was an easy battle. And alright, I'm gonna aim for reconning this. We'll try to get, there's probably no way, but we can try to get there. Alright, so there's one unit here that we can't see at the moment. Some riflemen. They're pinned. They're shooting back, but it's not gonna help them much. We'll try to do an overrun attack. 27 firepower. Yep, they're gone. Alright, nice. Alright, so we're almost, there's probably no way we can get there, but so combat day ended. Alright, so urban combat, much slower, facing a lot of resistance there, but we were able to bring in extra units to help us, and we survived the day, took out quite a few units that time. Got 28 victory points, so got a few more level ups, so our crew got a little bit better. And then that ends the tutorial campaign. So that was 3 days of the game in the tutorial campaign. Keith Jackson, tank commander. We fought 6 engagements, took out quite a few enemy units, survived, even though we got gunned down the very first engagement with the very first anti-tank gun on its first shot. Took out our first tank, but somehow the whole crew survived, was able to bail out, and you got to see, yeah, so what we've been planning on, you got to see the whole like mini game of where you're trying to like just bail out your crew. And in that case, we were able to successfully get out, but it could be, like the tank's on fire or like there's enemy units shooting at you or something. So that's pretty cool. It simulates down to like your crew trying to survive getting out of the tank, helping each other, opening the hatches, running for cover. And like if you've been playing a long game and you're like a month into a campaign or something, you want to try to get all those guys out of there. so that they can survive to get a new tank and go back into the campaign. And especially if you're playing with like the kind of permadeath mode on, you don't want your commander to die trying to get out of the tank because then your campaign's over. We didn't get any medals, but that's okay. But anyway, so that was Armored Commander 2. I don't know about Armored Commander 1, never seen it, but this is a pretty fun game that I know if you're watching it, you're like, man, these graphics are nothing. But when you're playing it, it's pretty fun because you're picking like what I want my crew to do, what's going on, like what's the situation. There we didn't even face any enemy tanks or anything, any huge threats other than those AT guns. But we did fight over some different terrain. We saw how like the campaign, you have objectives you're trying to work towards, and that was just one little piece of the campaign. Um, so if you're playing like one of those longer ones, like you might finish one of those maps and then go to a different one, and you keep going. Like you can get bigger and better tanks. There's like let's see, unit gallery. So just for fun, we can scroll through here and see how many different kind of like tanks and other units are in the game, are modeled. Um, all kinds of artillery, trucks, jeeps, cars, there's even aircraft, and then of course tanks. So here for your Panzer fans, we got Panzer 1s, 2s, Flame Panzer, Panzer 3, Panzer 38s, Panzer 4s. We got every different model of Panzer 4. And like I said, each of these is going to have different kinds of weaponry. Some of them have like rear-facing machine guns, different kinds of armor, different numbers of crew members, Panthers, and then of course we got to get down here to so like you can be like a captured T-34. All right, yeah, and of course we got some Tigers. And where's my King Tiger? All the good ones, all the big ones are here. Stugs, Jagdpanzer, different packs. And then where's my Shermans? Yeah, and then different Soviet tanks, different T-34s, KV-1, something ridiculous like KV-2, all kinds of late war Soviet tanks. Yeah, it's all here. Like this is me just holding down the button. Yeah, so then you can be like a Stuart, a Lee with the two turrets that are both modeled, and then of course all variety of Shermans, Wolverine. Yeah. Anyway, just to keep going, and then also the British tanks, of course. Let's just see how far does this list go. Japanese tanks, French. Yep, all kinds of stuff. So as you can see, there are like literally hundreds and hundreds of units modeled in the game, including like every tank from the war, and all of those you can play in one game or another, or in some kind of campaign wherever they appeared. So anyway, that is Armored Commander 2. Thanks for watching Example of Play. I might do another video of this later, playing like a real campaign, just to see how far I get. But if you want to see any particular campaign, put it in the comments. I'll play it. Or any suggestions for other games like this that you want to see. Thanks for watching. Bye.